Greetings, folks. Welcome back to the Radicombs. Me, I never leave. Well, I have to go to work and things like that. This is kind of an impromptu uh, uh, video because I'm actually pretty excited, even though generally my my tone generally tends to be a little bit more down or like that. But well, let me start off this way. This week, well, over the past couple of weeks, I've been reading this book, and very good, Kings of the Wild. It's more tongue-in-cheek comedy-ish. Well, no, it's funny, tongue-in-cheek puns, very punny. And if you're spelling that, by the way, that's with two N's. Otherwise, it's puny, and that's a pretty small joke. But the point is that the character work in this is really good and reminded me of the characters that I'm writing in my book. And I guess on and off, I've been reading this one for the past 2 or 3 weeks. Um, uh, Kind of finished a little bit into this month, like last week, I think is when I finished it. But it made me think, man, you better get your book done. And well, let me backtrack a little bit. My book, for all intents and purposes, was finished. Um, it was kind of written for a small audience, so I finished it it was about a year and a half ago, and it was written for a small audience for the group of people group of people that were in my Renaissance Fair group up in Alaska. And it occurred to me once I finished that if I want this thing to go for a wider audience, I've got to expand the scope, so to speak. Change some names and the particular places for the Three Barons Fair up at Alaska. Hi, if anybody's watching this from the fair. So I had to retool it a little bit, change names, change places, um, and that kind of thing. And so for the past year and a half, I've been doing that. Obviously, slowly. Life takes precedent many times, and you just got to do what you got to do. But it's always been on my mind, and so today I kind of crossed the last T and out of the last I, more or less. I just have one more thing to do that I want to do, and that's kind of assemble the soundtrack because I listen to music while I'm writing. It's trailer, like movie trailer music and that kind of thing, instrumental mood kind of music to do so. And throughout this, I have, while I've been writing, put a little song in here that this is kind of what I was thinking of mood wise for this scene. So I'm compiling that, but for all intents and purposes, I have completed my book, and I'm going to give myself a little toast, a little drinky, because it's been a while coming. Good stuff. Just so you know, that's Traveler whiskey, because a good portion of the group that my character belongs to and was a leader in the Renaissance Fair was called the Wild Rovers, and a combination of gypsies and tinkers. But you can't say those words these days because they will offend people. And let's face it, gypsy was meant to be a derogatory term. Anyway, they're basically Romani and travelers, English travelers. Traveler, whiskey traveler. There you go. So, what has to be done now, as I have been thinking about it for more than the past year and a half, is get to work on the sequel trilogy. Sequel trilogy, the sequel to the first book. That would make it a duology. The whiskey, I only had one sip, really, so far. So that was just my brain, not the liquor talking. So now what I have to do, although I have a bit of a flow chart already, I've written notes for it already, but I have a lot of research yet to do. And amongst the first of these books, I'm just going to show you the books. And if you can't really see that, that's the Book of the Courtier by Castiglione, which is what it sounds like. It's a book on how to behave yourself in the courts. of Europe. These are all the research books that I'm going to do, or that I am doing or have done. Catherine de' Medici, to give you an idea as to kind of what's in the next book on the Medici, a book concerning a specific time in Florence and a plot against the Medici. That's where there was an attack in a church. Can you believe that? That's a book on the history of Venice. Yes, there's still quite a lot of reading to do. A book specifically on the Venetians, which presumably, and does, have some history in it as well. This throws it for a little bit of a loop. Rasputin, The Last Word. Now, that I'm semi-basing a character in the sequel on Rasputin, who's more of a mystic and a holy man, although this person is not going to be really either of those things, only sort of peripherally. I don't want to say anything to, next 12 years is going to take me to write the second book. I hope it doesn't take that long. But he's going to be the antagonist, or one of the antagonists for the sequel. And I know that really didn't say a whole lot, but it's still kind of being worked out as I'm trying to get through all these. And lastly, so far at any rate, is By the Sword, which is a history. It's specifically of gladiators, musketeers, samurai, swashbucklers, and Olympic champions, which the Olympic champions are not worried so much. And that's not a how-to. That just kind of goes through the history of living by the sword. And that kind of thing. But boy, I am so happy to be, I'm not happy to be done with the book. I'm so happy to have been living in those characters for a while, or living with them for a while. I'm just happy to be more or less done with it. What has to happen now is I need to find beta readers, because a developmental editor, which is what you generally need to do, probably need to do anyway, are $1,500 to $2,400 to get them to read and critique your book, which is very helpful. I mean, this is my first book, my first hopefully going to be published book, and that means it could be crap, which is why I need beta readers to, read it and go, well, this is really okay. It's pretty good, but there's a part here, or you forgot to finish this plot line, or whatever. I'm pretty sure I didn't do any of that, but, I hope it's good, but I'm not going to self-publish. I'm going to self-publish more than likely, but I'm not going to do it before I get some feedback on the final product. Now, when I finished the first part, if you will, that was more aimed towards the Renaissance Fair up in Alaska, sent that out to several people, and I have heard back from one person out of that whole thing. So, that's why I need to find a group that is semi-dedicated to beta reading, and I know will eventually get back to me. But that's it. I've finished. I'm going to start working on the next one. I'm going to start working on moving forward to this. I don't know if I've got a GoFundMe or, whatever to get this thing going eventually. But I'm pretty happy. I'm excited, and I'm going to do one more of these before I sign off, because I am done with book one. Cheers, folks. Woo!